Welcome, everyone. Welcome to The Walking Dead. It's your host, Ken Dog. You know what time it is. This is the episode that no one's been waiting for. That's how I will entitle this episode. This episode is called Do Not Send Us Astray. It basically does exactly what it says it's not going to do. Definitely, I feel like this episode should just have been maybe a short snippet into something else. There's a little bit of action in there. There's some stuff to talk about. But I'm going to leave you off with some words of wisdom. And that word, it's basically, you could skip this episode. You could just pretty much listen to my review and skip this episode because there's things in here that just doesn't make sense and they stretch the storyline again and again. And to people, just listen to me. When I tell you, this is the biggest crap writing that you've ever watched in The Walking Dead. The Fear of The Walking Dead seems more interesting right now than The Walking Dead. It's just crazy. We start off with a whole bunch of blowhorns and Maggie. You know, you get a little bit of history of the back and forth of why we're here, and they're about to have another skirmish. We've had like maybe 50 skirmishes. But Maggie's about to be put on the spot. Her leadership is about to be put on the spot once again. And we might find out how truly of a leader is Maggie. And I mean, it starts off with her just getting into it, right? And that's what you get. Like, she just basically go, here we go. And she start, they give you the brief history of what's going to happen. And you're like, okay, we're about to get into some ish. Right? That's what you're expecting.
Previously on AMC's The Walking Dead.
And I'm going to give you the synopsis. Here you go.
Don't kill him.
I already screwed up once. What you gonna say? I'll kill him.
My people come first.
My people come first, people. I'm going to just talk over this because you guys have heard this before.
Or we could walk away.
And that's basically the premise. You have the Terminator, pretty much, right? He's going through his thing. He doesn't know what to do. And we keep hearing this stupid story. And the story basically is that he's been tormented by the death of this one savior who says the stupidest thing to me. Like,
you know what it is.
What is that? Are we ever going to get the answer for that? He shakes his head.
You were supposed to.
You're supposed to kill me. Why did you let the kid do it?
You were supposed to.
That's what I'm saying. You're supposed to do it. No, yes, you were supposed to do it, bro. Why did you let the kid do it? So we get that, right? And that little story, and I get it. It's a little bit drama, but there's really just no. How can I put this, people? The anxiety is not there while watching the show. I don't feel it's like a thriller. I don't feel like their lives are in jeopardy. Negan, to me now, is not a threat. Simon is not much of a threat than basically a shit talker. He is a shit talker. He's a loose cannon. He does things that most people wouldn't do, and he obviously doesn't think about the things he's going to do. And you basically have the Saviors as a crazy group with no leadership. Because although they will follow Simon, they don't respect Simon as they respect Negan. So he's using Negan's MO, right? He's using Negan as this, like the Force. Use the Force. Use that Negan. You are Negan to kind of create that emotion that he needs from the Saviors so they could follow him. What's going to happen when Negan comes back? That would be interesting. Will they take forever to bring that to us? We don't know. And then there's little side stories about everyone preparing for war, getting themselves ready for that ultimate battle, that ultimate skirmish that we know is coming. And it's the biological war. So the doctors are getting themselves ready. They have a little spat about, should I be the best doctor in the world, or should you just deal with me as a doctor because I'm the only one that you have? And you kind of go through it, you're like, okay, they're going to get there, right? But what kills me about this show is the fact that, and I'm sorry guys if I'm just going on and on and on here, but there was really nothing to talk about in this episode apart from the fact that when they do attack and they kind of, once a zombie scratches you, you automatically know that you're going to turn into a zombie, right? And now we've had several people get attacked and hurt. And for some odd reason, we're just patching them up, right? We're patching them up because basically we're looking at it like, okay, if we patch them up, then they're not going to turn. It's biological warfare, people. You know where you at. You know that this is what's going to happen. And no one seems to care that all these guys were hurt. They're thinking that their injuries are just regular and there's nothing to worry about. And it pretty much just turns on Rick's group that he just had the worst biological warfare fight that he hasn't even encountered this before. And the fear of it, to me, still wasn't there. It was just handled like it was another skirmish. Simon comes through with his people. He talks a bunch of crap, but nothing really takes place that makes you think that, oh man, at least the Saviors got their win back. No, they kind of run back scared again. And you're like, oh man, when are we going to get something? Where's Negan? This is pretty much what you get to, right? Where's Negan? Where's Rick? Because you don't really want to actually watch this episode because you're just like, listen, I'm bored. Probably like you're probably bored of this podcast right now. I'm sorry. But I'm trying to get to the point where that the whole biological warfare that we were waiting for, the whole skirmish that we were waiting for with everyone from Alexandria, everyone from the hilltop, with the new bad, as I thought he would be, Simon seems more like a pussycat. Like he doesn't really have the charisma in this battle that we've seen throughout the whole Walking Dead. Like this guy is a shit talker, and now it comes down to it where he gets to play that role, and he doesn't really do what he's supposed to. And you have everyone kind of going crazy. But there's one bright spot. Daryl. Daryl on a bike, ain't no one better than that. It just kind of reminds me of Terminator with Arnold on the whole, bike going crazy with the gunshots, sniping people left and right. Got to give it to the hilltop. They did a great ambush, but they didn't finish the fight. And to me, when you have someone on the ropes, you finish the fight. It just over and over again, we get to see these groups made by Rick that are just not sufficient when it comes to battle. They've been in enough fights that they should be able to overcome those little, I guess, entry-level mistakes, right? You see someone with a fever after a fight, you got to be like, listen, man, I got to test you. It should be a test, right? You have these doctors. Can they test to see when someone's going to turn? No. We pretty much don't have that. Give it to Simon. He did what he needed to do. Then he left. He kind of lowered the numbers of the hilltop and people from Alexandria. This was good. I'm not saying the whole episode was a terrible episode, but I'm saying it just didn't live up to the billing of we're going to go after these guys and this is going to be a biological warfare. I was hoping, at least with the turn, and they kept showing the clock, right? So you're like, oh man, it's going to happen any moment now. And then the fight is going to change. It's going to be a bigger battle. Never really happened. And even when someone puts their hand on the blood of an infected person and they're touching it, I kind of wonder, like, why didn't that person change? And I'm talking about Carol. She's all over the infected, and she's touching the blood, and she had to have a scratch. We all have like little open, scratches or stuff on our body when we're going through a skirmish. And she pretty much touches him all over. The doctor touches him all over. And no one changes but the actual guy, which is kind of weird to me. But again, it's The Walking Dead. We're not here to talk about realistic situations. But we are here to talk about where the hell is all the threat coming from. There's no threat. Daryl is kind of suspicious of things that are going on. But for right now, he's not really a main factor. He pretty much tries to save his compatriots, and it doesn't really happen. But I just feel like Simon had his moment to have a great episode, and it didn't really happen. I'm not even going to go any further than this, people. I really hated this episode. A 2.5 out of 5. It could have gotten more because the biological warfare just had the great set piece to have something happen. And it didn't. It never showed up. This review is late, but I'll try to get on time. I just had a lot of things to do. We're kind of getting ready to go to Vegas. We'll have some episodes posted in Vegas. Not for The Walking Dead, people. We have other stuff. If you listen to, we do Pillow Talking. We do In the Hood Stories. It's one of our best segments. And we also have Dragon Ball Super, which is finished right now, but we're probably going to be going back to talk about certain things that happen in Dragon Ball Super and what we see for the future Dragon Ball Super. And if you have any other animation or shows that you'd like us to record, do a podcast on, we'll definitely be interested in listening to that and probably doing that. And I'll have my co-star John on there to do whatever animation or shows that we're talking about. But as far as this episode, I can't say anything good about it except for the fact that there were little tidbits of stories to help push forward, with Negan being pushed in the trailer and, him being with Jadis. We're hoping to see where that's going, but nothing really exciting here, people. Just another run-in-the-mill episode, a 2.5 at best. I definitely think that they could have done better in a lot of different things. Oh, and before I go, we definitely got to give a shout out to the writer for finally putting this in the episode with Tower pretty much accepting the fact that she's a hypocrite because, she's been forgiven by Maggie, and, she's always had this issue with Dwight, and finally she's like, I can't seem to hate Dwight because he did save me, and now Daryl hates Dwight, which is kind of weird, but Daryl needs someone to hate for his mistakes and things that he's done. And for this whole arc, we got used to having Jesus around. This dude's not around anymore. One of the best fighters, one of the best equipped warriors that Rick has, he's sleeping somewhere under a rock. Like, where the hell is this guy? And we've got a lot of development from him in the past, but now he's gone. Like, he's just like nowhere to be found. And they're trying to kind of make Sadiq someone you care about. And I spoke about him before as the fact that he touched the infected and he didn't get infected. And I know you could just touch it and not get infected, but to me, when you're fighting and you got to have a cut somewhere or definitely things that are going on, the blood is going in your pores, you should be infected. It just doesn't make sense why it wouldn't be. Or they should have a test for it. The episode, it kind of flowed good, but the big moments were never big moments. And then they had the stupid kid moment where, you have the kid in the war room, I would call it. Like, why do you have a kid in the war room? Why is there a kid talking about, can I have a gun? Let me protect you. Like to me, that's just really stupid. It just doesn't make sense to have that. And we know Morgan is going to Fear of the Walking Dead, and we know that, like I played in the beginning, that he's upset because he let Henry, murder that savior. But I don't know where they're trying to lead us to with Henry. Definitely feels weird to have that and that thing just prolong. And I hope there's actually something that comes out of it, and it's not just he goes to the Fear Walking Dead and then that's it, right? Maybe there'll be a crossover episode. That would be amazing if there was a crossover episode. Like, that would be something that I would be like, yes, thank you. I will take all those stupid episodes just for a crossover episode. I think The Fear of the Walking Dead is a great story of having a different kind of feel to the Walking Dead or to the zombie apocalypse. Maggie's leadership, she gets a 70 because she had a very good battle plan. She helped the Hilltop kind of fend off Dwight, although I felt like Dwight was just non-existent. And apart from getting her Maggie's numbers lower, I definitely felt like Dwight could have done better. His character just wasn't put into place to do what he did, like run and with his legs behind his tail. I mean, tail behind his legs, whatever you want to call it. I mean, the man has a lot of charisma, and he just wasn't used in this episode. Negan, they're kind of holding it off, but man, it was terrible writing, man. And I don't feel for Henry as much as they want you to believe. And the whole Morgan visions of Gavin doesn't really. If they're gonna do that, like where the dead, kind of do it like how Rick used to see his wife, right? It needs to be more over the top. Just seeing a dead body, kind of saying, those words, kind of doesn't do anything for me. And I hope that the writers see that and just kind of stop it already. Like that's one of the worst parts of what I feel they're doing. And there's a lot of idiotic decisions always being made by Rick's group, and they're the most battle tested. So I don't understand why they make so many mistakes. And there's always noise. There's always a battle going on. And there's no freaking zombies following these noise. And then when they need the zombies to follow the noise, they hit some cans and it's like, oh yeah, the zombies going there. Anyway, people, we like The Walking Dead, but I mean, they got to get better with the show, people. They got to do some better things and make some better writing choices. And that's it. It's 2.5. It's pretty much one of the episodes that you could just skip over or listen to my ramblings because you like to hear my voice. But that's it. And see you soon. Definitely subscribe. You can find us on iTunes as usual. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter. It's Hood News Media. Definitely listen to Pillow Talking, Dragon Ball Super, Hood Stories. We got a couple of Hood Stories. If you've never heard Hood Stories before and you listen to The Walking Dead, check out Hood Stories. It's a very good, good segment. Look out for the new episode of Pillow Talking. It's coming out, and we're going to be doing it in Vegas. It's going to be, one of those crazy live kind of episodes. You can hit us up on Gmail, hoodnewsmedia@gmail.com. That's news with a Z. Looking forward to hearing your feedback. Peace.